Hey guys, I want to show you some quick budget preps. What you see here is about $15. Easy stuff you can pick up just about anywhere. As I mentioned before in my previous video, prepping isn't always about the big flashy expensive stuff. It's really about the mundane, boring things that you do week after week after week to prepare yourself, to increase your food storage, your weapons, your ammunition, the security of your home, and your ability to survive long term in a situation where the grid is down. So let's take a look at what we got here. First, the easy one, it's just a little cutting wheel for the angle grinder. I have a 4.5 inch angle grinder, and occasionally you'll see these at like hardware stores. You'll go in and there'll be like a little rack in the back of the store where people like return things they don't like or they bought the wrong thing. So I ended up getting this little cutting wheel for 99 cents. It's maybe like $3 new, so, but you know, when you find stuff for cheap like that, grab it. Do I need it right now? Nope, absolutely not. But that's how prepping works. When you see something cheap, grab it. It's better to buy it for 99 cents now than $3 later. So I tend to do a lot of that. I pick up any spare blades for any of my tools, you know, bow saws, hand saws, electric stuff like drill bits, anything like that I find for cheap or a really good discount. I pick it up when I have the money rather than when I need it, because I'd rather get it for cheap early than buy it last second for premium. So I'm always doing little things like that. Is this a life-saving prep? Nope. But prepping, like I said, is a matter of attrition. You're slowly building. You're not doing it all in a day. This is a lifetime's worth of work, and you do it by one little blade at a time. Next, you're going to see we have 3 barrel locks, and nope, they are not the best quality on the market. They're not the most expensive. They're not the best thing out there, but you know what? They're going to help. I bought 3 of them. One of them's for my front door. 2 are for interior doors. We have 2 rooms in the house that are completely interior, no windows. Those are kind of our safe rooms. We've installed deadbolts on both of those doors, and you can actually see that in my video I did about a year ago on home security and hardening the home. You can check those out. So we have deadbolts on 2 interior doors. So what I plan to do is to add a barrel lock to the top of the door. The idea behind this is, if you ever watch videos of police breaking into doors with like battering rams, lots of times what you'll see is they hit the door once or twice, and then you'll see the top of the door start to kind of cave in or give and bend, and then that creates leverage where the door eventually pops. The same thing when people are kicking doors and whatnot. You tend to see that the top of the door, which is the longest section of the door, because the door handle is actually, you know, usually only about 40% of the way up to the top. You have that longer 60% where it tends to bend and warp out. The idea being, if I put one of these barrel locks on the top, it's going to help shore up the door and provide a little added protection for that top portion of the door, which does tend to bend inwards fairly easy. So what I'm going to do with these is, the interior ones I'm just going to set up how they're set to go from the factory, except I'm going to replace these stupid little brass screws that they come with some good wood screws or maybe even some deck screws, and put a little bit of epoxy on them when I put them in to provide just a little extra security, because some of the epoxies out there are actually rated for 2,000 and 3,000 pounds, so I think it will give a little more protection versus just having them into the door frame itself. So I'm going to set those up, just a little bit of added security. No guys, it's not going to be foolproof. It's not going to stop people from getting in. What it's going to do, buy you a few more precious seconds. The third one, of course, I'm putting in my front door. Luckily, the person who built my home built it incorrectly. But by building it incorrectly, they actually gave me a great strategic advantage on my front door, in that they actually used, it looks like, 2x12s to kind of frame up the door. It's kind of a little bit recessed, and rather than putting drywall, it looks like there's just some painted 2x12s there. And so what I'm going to actually do is install the third barrel lock, which is this one here, kind of the stouter of the three. I'm going to install that, and instead of using the little barrel, the catch on the end that it would normally go into, I'm actually just going to drill a hole up into the actual 2x12 itself and let the barrel catch and stay into that little piece of it. And I'm going to do a video on that to show you, just as a way where if you have that same kind of setup as me, you can add that barrel lock for a great deal of added security. So look forward to that video. That'll be neat. And I might even show you these other barrel locks as well once I'm complete and how the doors are set up when I do. Yeah, you know what, let's just say, once this project gets done, I'll do an updated video on hardening the doors. Last, of course, you're going to see is the splitting maul. Now guys, I don't care if you're an urban prepper in New York City or LA or the middle of the desert, you need a splitting maul. And don't go to the hardware store and buy one of those cheap piece of crap fiberglass handled garbage, like 4-pound ones. You know, yes, they work. They're very functional. They actually work pretty good. But you know what? Nothing beats a good old-fashioned 8 or 10 or even 12-pound maul. Now these things here, you can put them into, basically they take a sledgehammer handle, so they're very easy to rehandle. And you can also use them as a wedge. You don't have to put a handle in this thing right away. This one right here, I'm just going to throw this in the garage, and I don't have to worry about it rusting or anything like that, because this thing's already like 50 years old, and it's got a really nice patina on it that will protect it. So I can literally just maybe stick a little Vaseline or something on it and throw it in a box with some of my other stuff, and it'll always be there if I need it. That thing cost me like $3 at an estate sale. Not really an estate sale, it was kind of like an indoor garage sale. For the winter, $3. And I'm going to have that, keep it around, and I'll have it. Why is a maul so important, guys? In a true shit hits the fan, the grid is down situation, pretty much your main means for cooking, boiling water, and heat for your home is going to be wood. And you know, an axe, you don't want to ruin your axe splitting wood. It's just, you know, if you have an axe, the last thing you want to do is take a big chunk out of the blade because you hit a really hard knot in a piece of wood. You want a maul. Mauls are designed to split. They're not designed to chop. Your axe is designed to chop. The maul splits. You can use it as a wedge. You know, you can use this to this maul with a sledgehammer and split huge, you know, big 24, 36-inch splits of wood that your axe is just not going to touch. So you can use it as a wedge. You can use it as a maul if you put a handle on it. You're going to be way more efficient in cutting big pieces of wood with this than you are an axe. You're going to get exhausted using an axe to split wood on a daily basis. That's what mauls are for. It's good to own one. Like I said, guys, even if you live in New York City, get yourself one of these. You can get these on eBay because they're not really collectible and they're not really like a fashionable thing. You can get these things on eBay for like 10, 15 bucks. Old ones, new ones, they're not expensive. They're not like a fashionable item, so you can generally get them pretty cheap. If you live in New York City, guys, get yourself a bin. Get yourself a tote, plastic bin, whatever, and get yourself a couple of these axe mauls, some wood wedges, get yourself a couple old axe heads or whatever, and throw them in a bin. Because there's going to come a point, if shit hits the fan, you're going to have to leave your city. You're going to have to leave that urban life. And when you get to wherever it is you're going, you're going to rely on wood as your primary fuel. And you need to be able to process wood and to do it. And trust me, you want to have something like this around. Yes, they're heavy. They're 8 pounds. But you know what? That is like gold. This thing is probably 50, 60 years old. It's just as good as the day it was bought. It will last another 50, 60 years. These are, you know, heirloom things that will never break. They will never die. You know, axes tend to chip and break. Mauls, because they're so thick and the edges are so thick, you can see they're not You know, that's never going to break on you. You're never going to chip that edge. You're never going to ruin it. It's a great thing to have. I can't stress enough, you know, for those that are not, you know, that maybe it's not your normal environment, you don't think you're going to need it, buy one anyway, because in Shane the Fan, you never know where you're going to end up. You never know where you're going to be. You may have to leave your entire part of the country and head to a different area. Make sure you got one of these. You know, you can have it, and say you don't need it, you can throw that thing out on the side of the road, you can just drop it on the ground and walk away. But to have it in your gear, have it in your house, it's a small thing. You can even use it as a doorstop. You can, you know, you can use it to break up ice. You know, on your sidewalk. A million uses for a little stupid thing like this, and you can get them for dollars. Sometimes you can get them for free because people stop, you know, using their wood stove and they have it laying around. They just don't use it anymore. Lots of people just give these away. So cheap items, great to have. Always be thinking of the small stuff, guys. It's not just the guns, the bullets, and the beans.